I read the book When I Was Puerto Rican by Esmeralda Santiago, and I'm going to teach you about the Puerto Rican lifestyle and information about their migration to America. The book first takes place in Macon, Puerto Rico, which is a small city in Puerto Rico. For language, the primary language in Puerto Rico is English and Spanish, but there's a dialect of Spanish called Puerto Rican Spanish that has its own differences. As for religion, the majority of Puerto Rico is Roman Catholic, but you're allowed to practice whatever religion you wish. The housing in Puerto Rico is pretty basic, but they have this system called public housing specifically for low-income families, and their public housing is similar to what we would call the projects in the United States. As for jobs, there are many jobs offered in Puerto Rico, but most of them are low income. And there's an average of about 12.2% unemployment, and the unemployment rates haven't really been increasing or decreasing drastically since the beginning of 2014, but they're starting to slowly decrease now. The poverty rates in Puerto Rico are also very high, about 44.9%, and that's nearly double the poverty rate in Mississippi, which is the most impoverished state in the United States. They're living in such bad conditions such as little to no running water, electricity, and even homes. A good family and education are considered more important than wealth, but class distinctions are becoming more based on the ability to buy and consume the more luxury goods, such as cars, electronics, clothes, and travel. Puerto Rico is a self-governing commonwealth in association with the United States. The chief of the state is the President of the United States of America, although Puerto Ricans do not get a vote in the presidential election. The head of government is an elected governor. A local governor is elected every 4 years through universal suffrage. An elected resident commissioner represents Puerto Rico in the United States Congress, but still has no vote. Puerto Rico has its own constitution. Many Puerto Ricans migrate to the United States every year, specifically to New York. New York City's total Puerto Rican population was about 723,621 as of 2010, and they represented about 8.9% of the population. About 298,921 Puerto Ricans live in the Bronx, which makes up about 21.6% of the Puerto Ricans in New York. 176,528 live in Brooklyn. 107,744 live in Manhattan. 102,881 live in Queens, and about 37,517 live in Staten Island. So here are some quotes. This quote shows how they lived in poverty and the type of conditions they had to live in. The way she describes where she lives as a rectangle of rippled metal sheets on stilts hovering in the middle of a circle of red dirt is very descriptive and shows how it's very different from living in the United States and later New York opposed to living in Puerto Rico. This quote relates to her moving to New York and sort of erasing who she was in Puerto Rico to adapt to the new land. A lot of Puerto Ricans had to do this, many leaving their culture behind to adapt to new surroundings, new people, and a new life overall.